There are only 50 top Battlebots teams in the world. One of those teams has been named the most powerful of them all.
Give it up for Riptide! From around the world, they heed the call. Humankind's most ingenious minds. For the mind-bending blending of man and machine.
Let the bot battle begin!
Welcome to World Championship 7.
Kenny, tell us about this beast of a bot.
They've ramped up its spin time by about 40%, and Ethan is quickly gaining a reputation as one of the most aggressive drivers in the field.
But he's yelling. He's not yelling because he's angry. He's yelling because he's happy, and he had an amazing run a season ago all the way to the top 8.
Yeah, 5 of their 6 wins last season were by way of knockout, and Ethan Kurtz has this sport on red alert.
Give it up for Riptide! Robots activate.
Ethan Kurtz is a 2-time Battlebot contestant and 3-time LEAP student. Currently, he's in his 3rd year at UC Riverside. Ethan made a pivotal decision to focus his energy on something he loves, robotics. Ethan has won 2 robotics competitions at Google and competes on the show Battlebots, where he reached the coveted top 8 bracket in 2 out of 2 seasons so far. He won Rookie of the Year his first year, and now his 2nd year, he has the most destructive combat robot of all Battlebots. That thing is, this thing is literally like, don't even get in front of it. Like, it's crazy. He has beaten most key teams at Battlebots, including MIT and Berkeley, and has the quickest average knockout record, most fights ending in under 60 seconds. He's become the most viewed Battlebot captain with 70 million views on TikTok alone. Ethan's team was ranked number 2 in the world after his undefeated qualifying round this past year. With that, please help me welcome our former LEAP student and captain of Team Riptide, Ethan Kurtz.
Hey, what's up? No problems. Well, hello. My name is Ethan Kurtz. I'm the captain of Team Riptide. I compete on this show Battlebots, where essentially you take a bunch of people from all over the world and they build these 250-pound robots and they come and fight them for fun. You know, what I wanted to describe today is like how we were able to build something that was able to get to this level. Because it didn't start this way. At some point, I was just an excited LEAP student and just came and just wanted to do cool things. And then eventually, it kind of worked into this thing that ended up being really cool. So, yeah. So at some point, I was 14, and I actually came to LEAP for my first time around that age. Robotics for me, when I was in high school, was really just something that would, like, it wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna be a robotics person when I grew up and I get straight A's and, you know, do all the things. For me, it was just like I was getting bullied, and the robotics lab was a lot more comfortable than going outside. So I just went in there more, and I was really just starting to get engrossed in it. And it honestly was something that really saved me more than anything. I just really started to like it and vibe with it and get passionate about it and try it. And I just started going day after and day after, just because it was interesting. Like, it was just interesting. And even though I was passionate, I didn't have any natural talent. Like, there were many kids in there who were just like really smart, and I was just, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'll just keep coming back and keep trying and learning. I had my first robot up there, and it sucked. It just straight up sucked. It was supposed to be a catapult that launched things over a wall, but it launched one thing vertically. It wouldn't even go over the wall, but it moved, and it was progress, you know, not perfection. So, yeah. I started around in the 9th grade. I wanted to get into like one of the larger teams in my school that was new. There was one spot open, and there were 2 people going for it. It was me and my crush. They chose my crush, which crushed. But anyways, I started my own team, and I got to learn a lot that way. It was a blessing in disguise. I was just, like, at the time, I was just so excited. I just kept watching, like, there were YouTube videos. I was like, all right, I'm just going to watch everything I can see. You know, like, how can I get the most free knowledge? And I wasn't even really thinking about that much. I was just doing it and liking it, and it's like, this is something that's interesting. I'm just going to keep learning about it. And yeah, like, I went to a few local events. I did okay. But right after that, I came to Leap for my first time. And that was a really big deal for me, because I got to see all these people who were, you know, passionate like I was, but at the same time, they were doing extremely well. And that was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to do extremely well. I left here with like all these like new principles, and I was like, all right, like how do I do really well? Like I learned that, and it's time to do that. And it really vibed with me. And yeah, so from there, I started to butt heads with my teacher at school. Like I wanted to fundraise money. I wanted to go to more competitions. I wanted to do like all these really, you know, amazing fun things. Like I wanted to build this team. Like I wanted to make it a way in my business. And my teacher just really wasn't supportive of that. I think he called my dad one night. It was like, he can't be doing all these fundraising things and stuff. And my dad yelled at him. But in the end, it was just like, okay, it's not the place for me. Where can I go to learn from the best? Was really the question that was kind of asked. And you know what I learned from Leap is that, okay, if you want to get good at something, just find the best person and learn from them. You know, find a mentor. And so that's what I was really thinking about. And you know, I looked at this program called Rolling Robots at the time, and it was, you know, a place that taught robotics to kids. And I wasn't eligible. Like, you were supposed to be, you know, go into the program when you were 6 and then go through the ranks. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm not eligible. And I told my mom about it. I was pretty sad. And then my mom called them without telling me. And she was like, well, my son really likes robotics. He eats, sleeps, and drinks it. He doesn't stop talking about it. And they wanted to interview me. And after I learned they wanted to interview me, I was like, okay, you know, something I learned from Leap, I can make a brag book. I could make, you know, the brag book thing and come with it. So I did. You know, I went there with the brag book, and I was like, hey, like, I'm excited. And they were like, okay, like, cool, like, we'll take you. And it was like off of the photos that they saw in the brag book. Like, they thought that was interesting. And they thought, like, I was just putting in effort, and they attached to that. And so I joined a few teams. Like, I ended up leading a team in my senior year. But before I got into like, you know, like a prestigious team that was there, led by this guy Aiden, who was really talented, and honestly, at first wanted nothing to do with me. And how I actually got him to want me around is like, I just did all the crappy things, right? Like, I did the things that no one else wanted to do, like plugging in batteries, pumping pneumatics, writing and journaling about our process. Like, no one else wanted to do the things, and so I would do it in order to, like, you know, just be of value. Like, that's something I took from Leap as well, is just like, if I'm of value to people who, you know, I'm trying to be around, they'll actually want to keep me around. So that's something I did. I ended up, like, at some point, that's the picture, I ended up in my senior year leading my own team and winning the Google championship. There was a robotics competition at Google. All these, you know, different kids from all over different countries just came and competed, and it was really cool to win. It was a really cool experience, and it qualified us to the World Championship. It was so exciting. I was like, man, nothing could go wrong. This is amazing, and then COVID hit. And yeah, sad face emoji. I was really sad about that. I remember, like, man, this is something I really wanted to do. This was my dream. And then, like, it just kind of got taken away, you know, one day. And I'm sure everyone here can relate to that in some way. You know, and I really wanted to go to the World Championship. That was taken, and I think my mom was out buying soup, and I was in her car when I got the knowledge, and I was just crying. Like, it was really disheartening just to see, like, 3 or 4 years of work just like, oh man, that's gone. And after I and in that time, like, it was just, I was kind of in shock. And like online school, I just wasn't vibing with it. I was just really not in a good place. And then I saw a few of my friends doing this Battlebots thing, people I knew from high school. I was like, okay, like, that's kind of interesting. Like, and I saw them, I was like, okay, like, I was doing just maybe even a little better than them in high school. Like, maybe I can do that too. And I remembered this bucket list item that I just wanted to do as a kid. And I decided to do it. And I decided to use the quarantine time to train and take advantage of all this time I got in front of a computer. And here, there should be video. Cool. Yeah. So I started to train. I started to build like these little 3-pound robots of this prototype that I would eventually want to bring to Battlebots. And you could kind of see it's just, we were just hitting other robots, other people who were competing as well. And it was like, it wasn't like a huge thing at the time, but it was just a lot of fun. And we just kept training and getting better and improving the skill. Like, the whole time, I was just like, how can I improve my skill? How can I improve my skill in mechanical engineering? I just wanted to get better. And each time, I just asked myself what I can do next. And in terms of Battlebots, I was thinking about the application the whole time. And the question was, how to actually get on the show. And what I noticed is there were a lot of teams who would apply. They'd get on, they'd get 2 fights, they'd suck at both fights, and they'd never fight again. You'd never see them again. They were gone. And I didn't want to be one of those guys. But I also noticed there would be a ton of people who would put in a lot of work into their application and wouldn't even get on. They put in all this work, and they didn't even get on. And I just didn't want to be one of those guys. Like, I was like, OK, like, how can we actually get on the show? How can I use the principles that I learned to get on? And cool, next slide. After I kind of prototyped for a while, I decided to kick the idea into swing. And that's when things started to really get interesting. And like, I think for me, like, I decided to look for mentors and start like kind of figuring out like, how do you even build a 250-pound robot? Like, I didn't even know that answer back then. And I decided to look for mentors, and I knew a few people. And for me, like, I didn't, like, at the time, I never like asked anyone officially to be my mentor. Like, I was just like, I have so many questions, and who is willing to answer them? And I found someone on the #1 team, Endgame, at the time. That I knew from high school, and I was just like, hey, like, how do I do this? And I just like would pump questions out of me. Like, I don't know. People who know me know I ask a lot of questions. I know that's what people at Leap remember me by. I'm the question guy. I ask questions. Apparently, that's my thing. And I just kept asking questions. And that's how I ended up kind of finding mentors. It wasn't this official contract, but I found a lot of people who are just willing to help and be with me. So after I kind of designed this first iteration, which, is that pretty good? What do you guys think of that? Good? Bad? Good? Good, OK. So I was like, all right, pretty good. And I emailed the CEO. I was like, wow, I'm Ethan Kurtz. I'm doing this thing. What do you think? And I got 2 words, response, call me. I was like, OK, that's a good thing, right? I called him. He's like, your name sucks. You're 4 wheels and a vertical spinner. Oh, my God. So original. Do better. Your color scheme sucks. And you just go back to the drawing board. I was like, and I was pretty heartbroken. I was like, I basically felt like I got my ego or my heart or something, whatever it was, something was torn in half. And I also learned that there was 300 teams applying that year, and only 3 were going to get accepted. And that was, that's a big deal. Like, so many people apply, and a lot of people don't make it. But what he did give me was pointers. And he gave me a lot of design pointers. He also connected me with someone who did it locally. So although he was really critical, he was someone who was actually really supportive. And I didn't know it yet. Like, I felt crushed, but he gave me all the tools I needed to actually make it. And I'm so glad I emailed the CEO. That's something I learned from Leap. So if I didn't come to Leap, I would have never made it. Email the CEO if you have a question. Or like if you're trying to get onto something, it's something I learned. Email the higher-up guy. It's something I learned from Dr. Bill. It's something I was able to apply, which was really cool. And after a few thousand hours and his feedback, that looks a little better, right? And the name, changed from Airtime to Riptide, and that was a better name as well. Like, so we really just blew it out of the park and improved. And you could, we even made it like a really cool video. Like, we were starting to do things that other teams weren't willing to go through, and lengths, and like learning all these different skills. And it was just, we kept upgrading. Like, you could see, this is an upgrade from the first things that we were doing. Definitely the first robot I ever showed you guys. And later, they offered us a backup position. So like, I got a call from the same CEO like months later after I applied. And he was like, hey, like, Ethan, you weren't good enough to make the main cut. Do you want a backup position? And I was kind of sad by that, because that meant we had to pay for our hotels for 2 weeks. At the same time, I instantly said yes. I was like, I'll take your backup position. I'll take whatever I can get. I just want to get my foot in the door. And I'm so glad that I did, because everyone who said maybe lost the spot. Us being willing to go to any length to get on this thing that we knew we wanted to do allowed us to actually stay and make it. So that was a really big deal. And we were a backup robot. Yeah, after that, montage. I recruited the hardest working people I knew. And networking in the beginning really made the difference for me, recruiting people I knew from high school, and people I knew from local events, and whoever I could find, I would just bring onto the team, like people I knew I can trust. And it couldn't have happened without any of them. By the time I arrived at the first event, I was so burnt out. I was working, all day, each day. I was so burnt out. And they were just here, like, Ethan, we got you. And then we finished the robot together at the event. It came together then, and it was something that was really beautiful. And after months of preparing, our first fight came, and we were really excited. We're like, who are we going to get? Who are we going to get? We're probably going to get someone we could beat, right? We're also a rookie team. They'll probably give us a rookie. They didn't give us a rookie. So as a substitute robot, we were totally a sacrificial lamb. Like, they were just like, OK, let's get, like, we knew it, too. Like, they gave us someone who we just weren't supposed to beat at all. We were given someone, like, if you, like, look at this photo, like, their ride height is higher than we can actually hit. So we can't damage them. And so we were totally supposed to just be something that they can, eat up, and everyone will be like, wow, they destroyed, the rookie. But we knew that, and we did the best we could anyway to prepare and be early. We were early. We showed up for our fight ready 24 hours before our fight. So that was maybe a little too ready, but we were definitely ready. And that's the robot here. You could kind of see it's actually really big. And scary, and we were just like, oh man, how are we going to fight this thing? Like, it just really was a big unknown for us at the time. And yeah, it looks scary. I probably should have started this video sooner, but that's okay. And then this happened. Like, we actually landed a really good shot, like, right in the beginning. And we kind of get them stuck. They start to get stuck on this Highriser, and an opportunity was kind of created here that they were in this area where they can actually get stuck. Even though we can't hit them, we could push them into this kind of screw-like area and then get them stuck and then make sure that they stay there. And so we won our first fight, and we weren't really supposed to win this. Like, we won without actually doing any damage to them, which was really interesting. And so we were able to progress to, like, actually being a team that people cared about because we won this fight that we weren't supposed to. And we were able to win it because we were prepared. It was like a mix of luck, but it was also like we brought everything to the finish line, and then what happened, happened. We were ready for whatever happened. I'm going to go to the next slide. And we were doing really good. Like, we started to build momentum. We made it to the elimination rounds. This is something that, like, we really wanted to do. And then we learned we actually had to fight MIT. And they were killing everybody, and they were undefeated. And we're like, OK, like, we're going to lose this. They're MIT. They've been blasting holes and lighting other robots on fire for this whole event. Like, we're going to lose, and that's OK. Like, there's just, like, this. What was really cool is, like, we were confident, but we were also, like, really calm. We were just like, we did what we came here to do. It's OK. And there's just, like, this feeling of total acceptance that, we're 10, we're good enough, we're going to keep moving. And like, I just remember just thinking about this whole thing as we were preparing, and I went to use the bathroom, and a few things came to me. One was my bodily fluids, but the other thing was a strategy I can actually use. The strategy was arguably more important, although you could see each one. But anyways, the strategy was really important, and something last ditch kind of came. And we were just at this creative place where we were like, OK, let's just try it. Let's just try this weird strategy we've came up with. And so we did. And yeah, we were just having fun. Like, we just were like, we're going to lose, but we're just going to have fun doing it. And the other guy's muscles were pretty intimidating, not going to lie. I don't think that really helps in robot fights, but it felt like it did at the time. And then the strategy actually worked. And they're kind of flailing around, and we're just like, we're just going to keep hitting them because we don't want them to stop flailing. And we just kept working out. And I'm going to fast forward here. We win the fight. We avoid their powerful weapon the whole time, and all this happened just because we were prepared. We were ready, and we were confident, and we were OK. We weren't really caring about the outcome at this point. All right, and the next thing that happened is, I had a really hard year after that. Like, I, came out of that event, and I was blown. I was so burnt out. And that was one of the hardest years I ever had. And like, mentally, I was blown. My family was in turmoil. There was a lot of fighting in the house, and that was really hard to be a part of. I was depressed for months. I didn't really feel like a 10 at all. And I shamed myself over not feeling like a 10. It was like something that I thought, internally, I pressured myself to feel like that sometimes, but I just didn't feel like it, and I didn't know what to do. I lost a lot of time procrastinating on the internet. I'm sure that's something people can relate to. And I was not a good place and needed to, what I learned was make my mental health a priority in my life. And when I did that, that gave me the agency I needed to execute the LEAP principles in full. And when I was able to take care of myself, I was able to have more agency over what I was doing. And so I did that. And then I started to feel like a 10. And I stopped shaming myself, and it was great. And therapy, other support programs, I did it all. And that really brought me back into my body, and I was really executing the principles. So then some really crazy stuff happened. We got so much quicker at designing the robot. The first robot we built was designed in a year. This one was designed in 3 months, and it was twice as good. And we got better, and Riptide's been growing, and more great people came into our lives. And it was really something that started to take off. We went our second year. We went 4-0. It hadn't been done before by a second-year team. We started just winning over and over and over again, and it was really crazy what was happening. And we really had to face a lot of adversity because of this. People thought we were cheating. It was something that was really hard. Like, we got accused of it while this was happening. And we weren't. We couldn't. We literally couldn't. We were getting tested left and right. Secret cameras were placed in our pit, and we were spied on. Like, all these things were going on. And it was really distracting. It was really stressful. And it made the whole tournament harder. And oh wait, I'm just supposed to let this video play. They threatened to disqualify us the whole time. And the whole time we're just still trying to compete, still trying to run tests like this. And we were just doing the best we could. But eventually, through all this adversity, we just did our best to surf it out. Cool. And come out with a lot of learnings. I learned, I continually learned to try to keep a level head during all of this. It's like, who they see me, the Ethan Kurtz they see, what I've learned is not the person I am. I'm really sure of myself. And during that time, I learned a lot. I slipped up, I cracked a few times, I generated controversy. And seeing yourself on the internet generating controversy is not a good feeling. But for me, remembering my principles, within all of that, and apologizing for the things that I actually did wrong are the things that allowed me to move forward. It's I don't want it, a lot of us, are going to get hurt on the internet or make a mistake, and people will see it. But as long as we remember our principles and just keep moving forward and apologize to the people that we actually hurt, we can just get through it. And that's what I've been doing now. And I'm learning not to get stuck in the past or my mistakes, but just focus on what I can be doing better. And after that, after that healing happened, or after the controversy ended because we weren't cheating, we ended up having one of the most amazing fights of our lives. And this is the video that Dr. Bill was talking about. Yeah, it's got the volume. Yeah, I'll just show it.
The bot battle begins. Uh-oh, there's the first shot, a couple of my Riptide, and Will Bale's bot is inverted. Oh, here comes Riptide on the attack. Oh, my goodness! Are you kidding me? Riptide sent Hypershock 20 feet in the air. Hypershock is such a damn feeling.
And Ethan Kurtz isn't done yet. Riptide is out for blood.
Somehow Hypershock goes right side up and still ticking, but it's short one of its wheels. That makes that two of its wheels. Wow.
Riptide grinding away at the side of Hypershock.
Oh, making 6 bites and 6 knockouts. But
That was a dismantling.
getting ready to go for a rock.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Wow. And that's insane. You just don't see a vertical spinner do that here in the battle box. And that's wild.
So, thank you. You know, we ended up breaking a world record and doing that, you know, after all of that, which is something that, you know, we got to, for me, I feel like I could just die happy just knowing that we accomplished all those things. But of course, we're still going, and we're going to compete another year. And yeah, I think the last thing I'll kind of end with is we're always looking for people to recruit. And we're currently looking for people in sponsorship marketing, brand PR management, website building, and internships in that area. And left one of our email addresses on that. And also, I'm going to be around, so I'll be here after the talk. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Ethan, that was great.